In the last 10 years, we successfully missed about $1 trillion of value, which was right in our hands. We are probably the only industry in the world which is extremely scared of increasing demand.
We need to plan the capacity and build the networks that we have today to cope with this demand. And of course, this is not easy.
Humans will not be able to manage networks of this scale. So we're planning how do we automate everything. Plus, you can't just look at your network as isolated boxes and performance manage from an isolated box point of view.
We believe that with the forthcoming 5G technologies, we need to change this model. We need to break the silos to move to open networks, to use the access around the user and not the user around the access, to have a user-centric network. And for this, we are trying to have everything on a softwareized and cloudified way.
I think there is a major disconnect in between the value build, revenue growth opportunities, and the cost in our side of the industry. And I think this disconnect is the result of telco world's failure in terms of monetizing the data growth. And this has reflected in actually also a failure for the big vendors in the telecom space, because we have become more focused on running costs out rather than trying to build the revenues up. And I think CTOs and chief procurement officers in telcos have really done a fantastic job from their perspective in trying to optimize the costs. But I think the business side has failed to build new business models that would grow the revenues and ultimately maybe create asset-light models to pull the vendors in as well.
We are moving from the internet of people to the internet of things and everything. We should be careful not to produce the internet of nothing.
If we stop selling number of minutes, number of SMSs, number of gigabytes, and really start selling things our customers really care for, like music, like TV, like videos, like instant messaging, like cloud services, actually we have an incredible space in front of us.
Telcos have to become more agile. Propositions, if we're going to compete with the OTT players, have to be delivered in hours, not 6 months, 9 months, which is the current telco way of delivering a new proposition. So we need that agility, we need that scalability, and hence we need to really start looking at applications in the cloud and fighting the OTT players on their platforms.
That has been lost because of a neglected technology to we call OTT. I'm sorry, it's not OTT, digital service providers. They're just service providers.
It is not only about changing your customer interactions to digital services. It's also about changing the company into a digital company, because as Tony has mentioned, it's really not like a tsunami. The data is flowing. Once you provide services, digital services like music, TV, you suddenly get information and knowledge and data that you have never got before.
We actually are in a stage here as an industry because we neglected technology. We outsourced it, and then we say vendors, this, that. Honestly, I think we neglected technology. So that's where I would start. And because what is the next move? The next move is blockchain. All the money transfers are going to happen between countries with full authenticness, full traceability, all the way to the very, very end. That is being unleashed as we speak. If you own data engineering, you can make every decision based on data, and hence we will start evolving to a much more effective play and really focusing on end consumers and engagement, which was our purpose. So for us to own data engineering is key. To own everything is impossible because it needs a huge amount of scale, huge amount of mobilization, and that is where we are focusing on. We never talk about IT. IT is where all the data resides. We never talk about consumer. Consumer is stored in the fixed line system in the video system, in the mobile system, everywhere. But it is the same consumer. I have just different habits.
We have a mandate to share infrastructure. We have to stop, trying to compete on limiting access to limited amount of infrastructure. We have to start competing on customer relevance and digital services and share the networks and share the costs and build new capabilities with that. That's, I think, an important thing we have to do.
We need to work together. I can't see how all the networks in the world and in the UK can put small cells out, can densify their networks, put fibre out, without working together. There's too many layers of margin men out there, and I think the networks have to actually disrupt the whole infrastructure market to be able to deliver at cost. And I can't see any network really surviving by doing that purely on their own.